Do you have some suggestions on people who are maybe encouraged by this, feel, like they should try something different? Where's the starting point? What would be an entry point for people?
I think at the very minimum, we need to take seriously the duty and responsibility and high privilege it is to vote. And that means for us, and that means creating space for our employees. There's ways that we can, in a culture that often undervalues civic engagement. Certainly, many of our employees got an education that didn't include civic education, didn't include things like citizen responsibility. What an opportunity that business owners have to create a culture in which this is elevated, this is valued. Second, I think we need business owners to reach out to their elected officials. Because you have access to individuals that a lot of folks don't, take advantage of that access. Get to know them. Support them when possible and speak out when necessary, because that's going to create this kind of bank account of goodwill and relational capital that when it needs to be cashed, you're going to have it there in order to do that. Third, I think we need to take seriously not only the national political realities, which a lot of us pay a lot of attention to because of the 24-hour news cycle or whatever. And you know what, particularly, let's take, for example, those cases that are religious freedom cases that are very popular in the news, having to do with Christians taking their faith into the public square and whether they can hire and fire and accept business based on their deeply held convictions. Those all started locally. They started with unelected, appointed civil rights commissions. And they have now become the definitive Supreme Court and other high court cases of our generation. And they started in a community. They started in a strip mall. They started, again, in a local committee that meets in a school because they don't even have their own office space. When you realize that, then you realize the power local school boards obviously have over what is taught in schools and what businesses, government employees can work with and not work with. Listen, local politics matter. So our engagement, I think, has to be not only on that national level, not only with who's in the White House, although that matters, but also who are the local elected officials, what's happening on the ground. Because what's happening on the ground will either trample out religious freedom or it will create more elbow room for people to govern their own lives. And America's largely been successful because, at least at some degree, that's been the case. And to lose that's going to be a big deal.